You're listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, the place to learn about new technology and technological advances before they become mainstream. This podcast is sponsored by D-Link Technology. Make your home smarter, safer, and truly seamless. Let's get into it.
Welcome to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro. I'm your host, Keri Roberts, and we are welcoming today Chad Simon, the Senior Category Strategy Consultant at Ingram Micro, and Steve Yochum, the Director and GM of UCC at Ingram Micro. Welcome, guys. How are you today? We're so excited to have you here.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here as well.
So today we are talking about video conferencing and video as a service. How has video conferencing changed over the years, and why is it a must-have for organizations?
So this is Steve, and let me take this one. So the interesting thing about video is, if you remember back in the day, and when I say back in the day, a short 20 years ago, or even maybe 30, there was the AT&T video phone, and there was so much excitement about having video on this little, 4-inch screen on your desktop. It was incredibly expensive. It was unable to scale, but it kind of predicted the future of where we are today. And now where consumer-based technology is really coming into the workplace. I always talk about my kids when I'm up on stage. The last time that I was out of town, I called my children, and my daughter Allison answers on FaceTime because that's the only way that she knows how phones work. I'm not sure she would understand how if video wasn't working, she would think that the phone was broken. That momentum has been building in the consumer area, and now with the influx of majority of our workspaces, millennials and even Gen Zs now coming into the workplace, videos is a huge integral part for any business or any end customer. What excites me about it is it used to be extremely difficult, extremely expensive to do, but now with the as a service vendors that are out there, the change in the video technology, the hosting services that you see, the collaboration services that you see, video is really coming to every room, every boardroom, every huddle room, every desktop, every mobile device. So it's a really exciting time for video.
Yeah, and I'll just add on there. Everything you said there was correct, Steve. It's kind of weird when you look at our society nowadays when we talk about the digital natives, and you're absolutely correct about certain generations not thinking that the phone was working if the video wasn't there. I think it's an interesting indication of where we are as a society and where we're going.
Yeah, and one of the things to consider when using video conferencing or even as a service is the user experience, because it affects people in the room and on the other end. From technology to design, how do we maximize this experience?
This is Chad. I'll take that one. So glad that you mentioned user experience, because when it comes to any type of technology, especially when it deals with communications, the user experience it's not one of the most important things. It is the most important thing. User experience drives adoption, and adoption drives return on investment. So I think one of the biggest keys that we need to do as technologists is engage the architectural design folks early in the process.
From a user experience standpoint, too, Chad hits right on it. If people aren't using it, it just becomes a really expensive paperweight for most people. What we've seen, particularly in the platform changes that are out there, is that ease of use is going from the mobile device to the desktop to now the conference room and huddle space, where people are walking in and they're experiencing a one-touch video conferencing experience. There's a great YouTube video out there. I'm sure everybody's seen it. It's the conference call in real life video that was done, I believe, for Zoom a few years ago. It's incredibly accurate. When I talk to audiences about the UC experience, I talk about the video, and I raise your hand if you've ever had a challenging video conferencing experience. And everybody's hand goes up. It's almost a expectation for video conferencing to maybe work, maybe not work. That's an old expectation. The technology has changed to a point now where people can use that technology on a daily basis, whether that be from their mobile device or from their desktop or from a video service within their organization. The customer experience has changed completely in really just the last 5 or 6 years. So to me, that experience is the key to the adoption. And what we're doing with Ingram as well is we're helping understand what our partners want their customer experience to be. Kind of go back to the old, and I'm not going to start an Apple or Android fight, but the experience you get when you open up a brand new Samsung Galaxy phone or a brand new iPhone, right? It comes in a beautiful box. It opens up. There's collateral in there that tells you exactly what you need to do to get up and running in a quick time period. That experience is what we're helping our partners start to deliver, from basic things of putting a quick start guide in the boxes, testing the equipment beforehand to make sure that when the end customer gets it, it is a quick setup. Sending out trainers or even technicians to set those up for our partners if they don't have that service available. And it's seeing a better adoption of that experience. Once people start using video, it's a game changer. When I first came to the unified communications business at Ingram about 3 years ago, kind of mandated it for my teams that we use video for all calls. And even the difference between what we were using 3 years ago to what we're using today is incredible. And now pretty much all of our organization is video start with video, right? The audio, everything else is all part of that experience. But the default meeting type now is a video meeting.
Yeah. And I know I've learned, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, let me just add on to that I think we're in a really exciting time. If you look at the product hype cycle of unified communications, and you see we're now in the what's called the slope of enlightenment. But back in the day when we were going through the trough of disillusionment or despair, all of the best and brightest minds of the industry were focused on getting the bandwidth that we needed, and that focus has changed now to the user experience.
Yeah. And I know for me, I've learned so much that Ingram doesn't just provide products, but really the services that you all provide. And I know that Ingram can actually help design, set up, and provide tech consulting to create an end-to-end experience that's easy and great for everyone involved, especially within this video space. Can you talk about what working with Ingram to do this looks like?
Yeah, this is Chad. I'll go ahead and take that. We realized a couple of years ago that this was a big opportunity in the industry, and we actually put a group together that does nothing but pro AV and digital signage design. So it's very easy. There's a single point of contact, and like I said, from architectural design all the way through to creation of a BOM, we're there for you. And we'll also even be there post-implementation to answer questions and help you run your user adoption program as well.
And I'll add on to that as well. The big thing for me, when I first came into the UC space, so in my previous experience with Ingram, I worked with the Cisco team, the Microsoft team. So I've always been around that communication space. What I realized, though, is partners out there are challenged in the UC space. And the challenge is because it's somewhat confusing. When it comes to voice, for example, there's regulatory information that needs to be captured. There is taxation that needs to be done. If you're not a regulated carrier, you can't provide some services. So UC is really the classic hybrid space, right? A partner can play in UC. There are 7 or 8 different ways to make money in a single use deployment. For example, as Chad mentioned, there's the consulting, the design, right? Our partners are out there doing that all day long. There's the sale of the actual service, right? Whether that be a voice service or a subscription to a video as a service, et cetera. There's that monthly recurring revenue, that cloud space that we hear of, right? That as a service. There's the implementation of that, which is the combination of both the hardware that's going to make that service usable, but also the installation at the end customer site. There's the training of individuals on how to use that service, right? There is what do you do with the old equipment that's in there? We can recycle that for them. All of those are opportunities for our partners. And in an ecosystem where it has to be a hybrid solution to get that best experience, Ingram's uniquely positioned to be able to help our partners at any one of those stages. And when I talk about our partners, it's not just a service provider or an ITSP. It's also our VAR partners, our MSPs, our solution deployment specialists. all of those partners can take advantage of either small parts or everything that we have in that design and fulfillment cycle.
Real quick, before we jump straight back into the episode today, we want to tell you about Ingram Micro Financial Solutions and how you can maximize your buying power and get to yes with your customers faster. For the last 9 years, Ingram Micro has been Channel Pro's reader's choice for best financing options. Put the power of our credit and leasing options to work for you. You can easily contact Financial Solutions at ingrammicro.com. All right, let's get back to the show.
Recently, I know a new Ingram Micro facility in South Carolina was just built. And of course, one of the first conversations you all had was how to enable it. What is this new space like, and how has it been working for your employees and clients this past year?
So this one is close to my heart. I relocated from the Ingram Micro sales headquarters up in Buffalo down to Greenville, South Carolina in 2016 with the family. And when we first came down, we came down from an acquisition for NetX USA. Their facility was a warehouse combo with some desks. It was a good facility. It worked well, but it wasn't as efficient as it could be. And it really didn't allow us to show not only our associates, but our customers and our vendors, the capabilities that we have within due to that acquisition. So I was excited. In March of 2019, we moved into the facility. It is a 130,000 square foot dual use facility. When I say dual use, I mean we have a full distribution center there, a full integration center there, as well as office space, Class A office space for all of our associates. When we designed the facility, we really wanted to make sure that we were incorporating all of the UC that we can do at Ingram Micro. So when you walk into the facility, you'll see there is digital signage throughout the building that is interconnected, not just with the signage information, but we can run meetings over it, emergency alerts, etc. So everyone is informed quickly in case of an emergency, for example. Or if we're doing all hands meetings, we can broadcast across those screens. Secondarily, we have 13 conference spaces. And I say conference spaces because there's a variety of different ones. We have a couple of large conference classroom type areas, fully video enabled, dual screen, allow us to leverage any platform meeting that we wanted to in a video conference setting. So whether it's a Microsoft Team, Cisco WebEx Teams, Zoom, BlueJeans, etc., any platform is supported through those. And in most cases, it's a one-touch launch of those video experiences. All of our huddle rooms are enabled with single screen as well as a variety of different manufacturing partners, video and or audio within those rooms. We have a fully staffed lab that can not only do what we traditionally did with the desktop phone systems for the UCaaS providers, but we now can show video conferencing solutions that enable the platform with a combination of different vendor partners, audio, cameras, displays, etc. Allows us to test it fully, whether that be on a closed network, an open network, or a wide open internet circuit, so that when our customers deliver this, they know that it works. As it leaves the facility, it's already tested and ready to go. The third exciting part about the new facility is our RMA services. So when you think RMA in a traditional world, you're thinking of, oh, I got a product, it's broken, I got to send it back. Or I have a product and my customer doesn't want it, I need to send it back, can I return it, etc. What we do differently within our organization is we're actually managing the products that go out of our building are all configured. Everything we do is an open box touch programmed through an automated process, a platform called Maverick, which is the IP we acquired from NetX USA. In many cases, particularly in the UCaaS space, there's a 30-day, no questions asked, cancellation return of that service. In the old days, those products would end up in people's closets. They would end up in dumpsters. They would end up, being sold out on the street. There was no place for that product to go. Once it was out, it couldn't come back because it was programmed, et cetera. We've built a facility to reverse engineer those products so that our customers can keep that 30-day satisfaction guarantee. And if there is an issue, they can send it back to us. And we can either refurbish it to brand new condition or B-stock condition or destroy the equipment if needed. allows us to manage the warranties for the first year of everything sold through the NetX USA organization. This is a key differentiator. It's allowing us to expand our footprint beyond just a pick, pack, and ship, and thanks, we're done, let's move on to the next opportunity, to a true asset management for our partners. So this entire facility has been the existence of my most stressful moments, but also my most excited moments over the last year, and we're excited to be in it.
One thing to add there, I think, is you mentioned the lab or the sandbox environment that you have, and I think that's extremely important in the industry that we're in today, because there's different ways to work that people dream up every day. The newest one that's kind of hitting the streets is the open huddle space, right? So we definitely need those lab areas, those sandbox areas to fully vet and create the solutions that are going to work for our partners, right?
Yeah, no, I think that's really exciting. And I love to hear that you're doing something that not only helps the customer and your company, but it's also something that you're doing that's fairly green and kind of recycling and refurbishing. That's great to hear.
Yeah, our partnership with ITAD, which is the Ingram Micro Disposal Services or Asset Disposal Services, has been fantastic with this acquisition. It was a true fix to help continue that full cycle of the product.
Now, one of the last questions we like to ask on this show, and I'll give it to each of you, is where do you see technology going within the next year? And Chad, I'll start with you.
That's a wonderful question. Me being a technologist, I sit here and I dream about what that future looks like. And, I can only say that in 5 years with the development of 5G, our infrastructure is gonna be unrecognizable, I think, in 5 years. Also, with the advent of augmented reality and virtual reality, that user experience is just going to get better and better and more real. I think we're headed for a pretty exciting time.
For me, it's all about what AI and what quantum computing is going to be doing for our industry. The interesting thing that we're seeing trends in, particularly in UC, is, and I never thought about it until probably about a year and a half ago, there is a lot of data that exists in every business that is not being used. And that's that voice data, whether it's somebody talking on a call like this, a recorded call, or a call that comes into the receptionist, goes to the customer service area, call center environments. All of that voice data has typically been recorded. Sometimes it's used for training purposes, et cetera. What we're seeing now is really a trend through artificial intelligence, through machine-to-machine communication and machine learning, is the ability to analyze that data in real time, tie it directly into CRM applications, tie it directly into customer service applications. And that's really enabling the customer experience. It's amazing to me how quickly the industry has converted that data from a whole bunch of, I hate to say it, I'll show my age a little bit, cassette recordings, to now a digital footprint for every customer, every experience, so that you can manage that customer experience not only in what they're physically receiving, but in how they're communicating with you. That's the exciting part for me, because the change is coming quickly, and it's being enabled through obviously higher bandwidth services, better computing quality, 5G coming onto the marketplace. It's an exciting time to be in UC.
It's funny, Steve, how everything that you mentioned, everything is tied together, right? It's with AI becoming a big part of what UC does. We need more compute at the edge, right? We need more bandwidth to get that data back and forth. And it's amazing how these technologies kind of develop hand in hand.
Now, where can people learn more about everything we talked about today, or if they want to connect with each of you to ask any questions they may have, where's the best way to do that?
Probably the first place I would look would be ingrammicro.com. We have a UCC landing page there where you can get some more information, or email us at UCCinfo@ingrammicro.com, and that will be routed to the appropriate team member.
Well, thank you both so much for sharing your knowledge with us today. And I look forward to hearing more about all that you do in the future.
Thanks for having us. As you can tell, I get excited about talking about UC and where we're going with it.
Yeah, thank you very much. I enjoyed it as well.
If you like this episode or have a question, join the discussion on Twitter at Ingram Tech Soul with the hashtag B2B Tech Talk. Thank you for tuning in and subscribing to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro.
You've been listening to B2B Tech Talk with Ingram Micro, hosted by Keri Roberts and sponsored by D-Link Technology. B2B Tech Talk is a joint production by Sweetfish Media and Ingram Micro. Ingram Micro production handled by Laura Burton and Christine Fan. To not miss an episode, subscribe today in your favorite podcast platform.